Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the WWE Elite 105 Iyo Sky figure from Mattel. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks fantastic, and that definitely starts with the face sculpt, the face scan, as it were. And I just think they did a fantastic job here. I mean, her last Elite, I can't remember exactly which series that was. I do have it right here, but I mean, this was absolutely just a great face scan as well. So they really just have like nailed her figures, and that's fantastic. Especially where here, you know, like many Joshi wrestlers, she has very intricate and just like crazy gear, and they really nailed all the details here. You get some nice interplay between the white and the silver, the golds and the black. And speaking of that gold, I really love the shade they went with here. It's kind of nice and dark and rich. Stands out. It definitely reads as gold, and you know, they've used it everywhere it needs to be, on the belt, on this like little sash piece, on the gear on the side here, and yeah, very nicely done all around. A lot of sculpt as well. As you can see, the kind of stitching here that actually I don't know how well it's going to read on camera, but that is actually sculpted in. The paint doesn't hit like exactly, but it's definitely good enough. You know, that's got to be very difficult to do, I would imagine. And you know, it's not 100%, but I definitely think it's definitely acceptable. You can see the gold lining that as well. We don't get any sculpt here for these pieces, but they still look good, and definitely absolutely does not detract. Then we get some details down here, not quite as clean, though I'm not sure exactly. Can't remember exactly how these looked in real life, but still just great details all around. And again, we get that pretty much everywhere. I love the sculpt they did for the hair too, with the braids here on the side. You know, the hair could probably have a wash, but I mean, it still looks great. And yeah, just overall, really kick-ass looking figure. Not too much to speak of when it comes to accessories, but let's jump right in regardless. And right out of the box, we do get a pair of grips, and we got some nice sculpt going on for the bottoms of her gloves there. And then we get a couple of open hands, very similar to what we got with her other Elite. Again, with some new sculpt going on there, so very, very nice as well. So that's excellent, always welcome. And then finally, we get the women's tag title with some great details, especially with that gold and silver. Very clean tampos all around as well. Nothing's off center, so very much welcome. Hopefully we get a Dakota with that same belt, so we have a match them as a tag team. And yeah, that will do it for accessories. Articulation, balance here are absolutely wonderful, and as you can see, we can hold a freestanding kick, no issues. That is despite my one, I'm not going to call it a major gripe, but my one gripe with the articulation here, and we'll get to that at the end. But for the finer points, for the head, we are on that dumbbell joint that we get on all Elites. So we're getting a little bit of up, a little bit of down, kind of barely. I do wish we got a little more range there, but you know, there is something. Get a little bit of tilt. We get some rotation for the shoulders. We come up pretty much into a Y pose. We get bicep swivel, we get double jointed elbows beautifully in half. Then we get hinge and swivel at the wrists, all horizontal. We get a ball joint here at the diaphragm. So that is going to give us about, pardon me. All right, here's neutral, about that much forward, that much back, definitely better on the arch back, and some nice side to side as well. We do get our waist swivel. Then we come down to the hips and almost full splits. Definitely nice range going on there. Our front kick is not quite 90, but definitely getting there. We do get thigh swivel, double jointed knees, which can be hindered slightly by those pads, but we are getting past 90. Then we have boot swivel, and then the ankles, which is where my gripe is, and that is we get definitely some decent point, but because it's only a hinge, you can actually see the pin there. We don't get any forward, and that's really sad, which means we get no rocker. So very, very good articulation, just kind of one major point that I think they really could have improved. So that will do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here she is with some other WWE figures, with some other wrestling lines, with some Hasbro and some Mattel, with some imports. with some monsters. Finally, with an articulated icons, Oni and yours truly in human form as the Valorverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the WWE Elite 105 Iyo Sky figure from Mattel is that this is an absolutely fantastic figure. Iyo is one of my favorites of all time, and I just love that at least the past two Elites she's had have been absolutely top notch. Despite my slight gripe with this one with the ankles, overall just absolutely fantastic figure. Also want to correct what I said earlier, that the hands are not new sculpts. Those are actually the hands that we saw with the previous figure, just different paint. But so just clearing the air there. But overall, just fantastic figure. Cannot recommend it enough, especially if you are an Iyo Sky fan, a fan of damage control, etc. So definitely pick this one up, and I will have a link or two in the description for where you can do so, as this wave is, I haven't seen it on pegs yet, but it is definitely hitting some online shops. So yeah, that'll be there. Overall, I just hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. If you did, I hope you come back, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, of course, and more. So come on back, let's talk some more toys. Let's just escape the world for a while. But ultimately, I just hope that you are well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true. And most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.